Hey, I'm Alex Fair. I started MedStartr back in 2012, and you're on MedStartr today, so thanks for coming. If you're been here before, like thousands of you have, welcome back. Update your profile, and let's get involved again. MedStartr was mothballed for a few years at the end of COVID as we stopped running challenges and we started focusing on helping our startups that we had invested in do really well. We started as a community. We moved on to creating a crowdfunding site and then doing challenges. And you can read all about this below. There's a lot of writing. I know it's a lot. So, but we've done a lot. So over 15 years, we've been developing this complete system. So I'll take you through it real quick. And maybe I'll read you a poem at the end. We'll see. I've been writing a lot of poetry lately. So we're going to switch over to just making my head very small. And hopefully you can see my entire screen. So MedStartr evolution is what we're calling this, right? Because when we started out, it was really more about a revolution, right? It's very grassroots. It was like, let's change this, let's break these things, and let's fix it. But as we've grown up over the last 15 years, we realize we have to work with partners, right? Work with the companies that are doing healthcare now. So just to summarize, we're relaunching, we're opening family of funds to evolve healthcare faster. And that's what it's really all about. I'm Alex Fair, as previously noted. So, but what I was talking about is we've really developed a system, and we've done pretty well with it. We can't really talk about it here, because you'll see a lot of redacted things in this deck, which is our fund raising deck. But it has a bunch of other things in it that relate to this. So first and foremost, we've been doing it for 7 years. The SEC needs us to say this, so I'll move myself a little further out of the screen. Well, basically, all investment bears risk. This is not a solicitation to buy or sell securities, okay? You cannot invest in MedStartr or any other company through MedStartr. The invest button that you see over there is not really an investment button as much as it's an investor interest button. Okay, so read all of this, pause. I'm not going to wait, but you can pause the video. So we think right now is the best time to do this, right? There is an enormous change going on in the system, not just due to regulations and DOGE, but there's new care models, right? There's automation, there's AI, which is just making everything go much faster. And there's hundreds of thousands of medical innovations in the market. So this is one of the reasons that we're expanding what we're doing to make it easier for you to find them and for us to figure out which ones to invest in with your help. So that's what this is really all about. So, but what we've gotten really good is at predicting which companies are going to do well based upon how they do on this platform and the contests that we run. And we've run over 120 of them. So we created this data model, data collection model, and lots of algorithms and now AI that predict success pretty accurately. Well, nothing's perfect. And it's not just the crowd validation site. It's actually many different steps. We'll go through that. So now we're creating a family of funds based on stage of company all the way from first money in to Series D. And so that's going pretty well. And feel free to hit the invest button if you're interested, and an accredited investor. But what we built, not just in terms of systems, but in terms of people and communities and the network, really works well. So let me take you through that a little bit. I already talked about this a little bit, that we started out as revolutionaries, but over the years we've become evolutionaries, working with giant partners and cities and countries to help find the best new ideas. So that's what we do these days. But we're still core to the mission. We still want to fix healthcare, right? I retired at age 38, and I said, let me go do something useful in my life. I went to a meetup group run by Eugene Barankovich. You can see a lot of pictures from that. Back in 2009, and he asked me to run a few events. I still run a lot of events, over 1,200 so far, and all different types, for devices, for investors, for hospitals, for patient activism, things like that. And patients are a very big part of everything we do. We didn't have any choice. We didn't have any voice, as patients, or doctors or nurses or anybody except NIH and large investors. Corporate VC do really well in healthcare, but typically we don't have a voice as individual investors, right? As to which innovations get into market, because we're just a very tiny sliver of it. But what we realized very quickly is that big companies wanted our help figuring out which companies to invest in. When I say our, I mean all of ours, right? The crowd. So we created a system from ideation through the validation process that happens on MedStartr into an acceleration program, which is a 3-year in-person virtual accelerator that works really well. And then we coordinate the teams. Okay, they get to know each other, they work together, and eventually integrating them into the healthcare system through a lot of distribution channels that we work with. And these are just some of the ones that we've worked with. And we also will do turnarounds for small companies. So all of these are venture studio type services. We've done it 9 times. It's worked out really well a couple of times. We're returning a lot of value for our investors as well, and not a loss. So I can't really show you this slide. It's all redacted, but just while everybody else did poorly in the last few years, we did really well. So this is what a crowd validation work looks like, and this is one of our portfolio companies. So this is Meta Dierberg, if you know her, and during the campaign, she actually got 109 patients, 2 partners, 3 pilots, and a bunch of investors. And this is a company that's been around for a while, but this finally got them out to market. And then she went on to raise millions of dollars, help thousands of patients, and it's really an amazing system that if you want to follow the link, you can find it on the homepage as under acquired companies. So one of our key things that we do are called crowd challenges, right? So this is a case study. We had to redact all the information, but a case study on this crowd challenge we ran, which had 396 teams apply. 117 of them went live because our applications are very hard. They're hard for a reason. We really don't want to work with companies that are not interested in answering all the questions, because those are all the questions that investors, that hospitals that are adopting, partners that are looking for you, patients that are looking for new ways to do care, doctors who are looking for new ways to give care. These are the questions they ask. And we developed the application over years. It used to be 37-page Word document, so it's much better now. And when we do these crowd challenges, they're very viral by design. If you imagine you have 100 entrepreneurs all doing the same thing, sending people to the site, saying, "Hey, look at my project," and following the instructions that we send every day. Every day we give pro tips to the teams while they're going through a challenge. So it creates a community around innovation. It creates a community around every individual company, because all of those people are the new tribe for the people actually doing it. So in this case, I think 3,100 times people actually clicked on the pilot and partner buttons. So if you look back at Meta's project, you'll see that on every project you have these buttons here, which might not be that easy to see. You've got you can donate as a tax-deductible donation. You can like, follow, try, but you can also pilot, partner, mentor, join, anything else, or express interest in investing, not actual investing. Right? Don't get worried. Anyway, and then all of those scores roll up, and then everybody's competing, and there's a leaderboard for all the teams, as they go through this. So it creates a really a great environment to have your startup in, because somebody like, I'm going to call out Craig Lipset. Craig will come through and he'll review 70 projects, because it's really interesting, right? Seeing all the innovation that's out there. And we talk a lot about this under the how we help partners and how we help hospitals and things like that. That it really just it's an inspirational thing to be around so much innovation. It gives us hope that healthcare can be better, right? So this gets to who the crowd is that comes to these sites and to our events. So the center, the blue areas are the core stakeholders, right? The patients, the providers, the partners, and institutions, right? That includes governments, associations, big pharma, medical device companies. People from every major company in the world in healthcare have come to MedStartr and registered. Guys like Eric Topol and Chris DeLuca, Eugene Brokovich, my friend who's had a CTO at Merck at the time. Now he runs one of our startups. But then this actually makes a safe space for startup founders and investors to know where to put their effort. So even before, when we first started MedStartr, we put 2 projects on the site. One, a company that I was working on called Fair Care, and another, just a goof, MedStartr itself, just like this campaign. And the crazy thing that happened was that we got a ton of press, 70,000 people on site, but only one person put money into Fair Care, which is unfortunate because I've been working on it for 2 years. But a ton of people put money into MedStartr. So we just kind of switched the team and started saying, okay, we're going to get into healthcare innovation, as a platform provider that would help people do what they needed to do. So over 250,000 people are in the community and our various networks. And so the crowd has accrued over the last 15 years to be quite significant. 10,000 just in New York, which is where we started. We also have accrued an amazing group of MedStartr mentors. Over 1,200 of them have clicked the mentor button on the site or have become involved in different projects. And these are some of the most incredible people, that we've ever met. People like Regina Holiday, who paints all those jackets. George Matthew, who has his own startup right now called Times Health, which is amazing. Ben Schroeder, who runs Entrada. Ron Razmi, who wrote a book on AI. So all of these people are incredible. Tom Sang, who wrote CCHIT, or the High Tech Act, also founded one of the companies that we invested in. And it goes without saying that Amy Gleason, is one of the most impressive, especially lately, now that she's been named acting head of Doge. So this is our network of mentors that we pull in to projects. We ask them to review things. The system automatically sends them projects along the lines that they're interested in. And they engage. They click on things. So if you go to their profiles on MedStartr, you'll see that they backed a bunch of projects. They started projects. Amy got funded on MedStartr in 2012, for example. So how do we analyze all the data that we get? I mean, we literally get 1 million data points every time we run a big challenge, and they're categorized into a lot of different areas. But the blue ones here: recruitment, pattern recognition, honesty, ethics, founder grit or compliance, also known as do they listen, which is very important. If you have 200 years of experience in a room and the founder isn't listening to that experience, it's good to know that it's going to happen ahead of time. So we have things that predict that. Remember those things I was saying, that they're sending out messages every day and pro tips? We watch to see who follows the pro tips. Very simple. We also think getting people together in real life is important. Not all the best ideas are here in New York. So we've set up satellite communities in 5 or 6 cities already. Now, this is based on the model we did for Health 2.0, where we had community chapters in 218 cities. So we're following that playbook. We've actually done 1,275 events. Our 6th one is in New York. 1,276th one is in New York. In a couple of weeks. So if you're interested, reach out to me. So we've done it in 42 cities, 2 countries, Canada, 3 countries. Sorry, Canada. And we'll continue to do it. The black pins are where we've already done it, and we list out a bunch of the partners we worked with in those cities. I forgot about Singapore. Okay, 4 countries. And the blue ones are the ones where we intend to go in the next 10 years. So yes, getting together in person, you can't substitute that. Online is great, but at the end of every crowd challenge, we put the top teams on stage and we see how they perform in public. And once again, everybody votes. So but what does that have to do with this website, Alex, right? Well, we collect the data to figure out which teams to put on stage. Or sometimes if a company is doing well on the platform, we don't have to put them on stage, right? We can just use that crowd validation data and do our due diligence process, which is how we find the best ideas and what we do with them, because it's not sustainable to just run a crowdfunding site unless you want to be an agency, and that's really not our interest. And we did that for like 7 years. But at the end of the day, we wanted to work for aligned groups. So our next thing, so crowd challenges, it's pretty straightforward. You compete with campaigns like this. We're about to start another one. Our next version of the site is even cooler. It's basically a marketplace for all medical innovations. So we're doing deals, making partnerships. We just, I think, closed our partnership with our important partner today. More on that later. That's what the updates are for. Our team has been doing this for years. We've been working together since 2017, or even longer if you consider my brother and my college lab partner. And we've been doing this together. We've been helping these companies get where they need to go. Deline Artis is particularly good at growth hacking and strategy. Chirag runs our due diligence. My brother runs our business development side. Rob is medical device, one of the greatest medical device engineers in the world. And I'm a little bit of a jack of all trades, creating the system. We also have a much deeper team with our chief programmer. It's not the same Mike Pence. It's a different Mike Pence. Our head of partnerships, social media. Patrick's amazing. All of these people, you know a lot of them probably, but Greg Masters does our social media. We've done 120 contests, 1,200 events, and we've worked with hundreds of people. But these are some of our favorites that we're looking forward to working with more in the future. We also have an amazing board of advisors. People like Khan Siddiqui, he was here 2 weeks ago on stage with us, but he advises on different projects. Cheryl Pegas is the one that told us to do the family of funds and also has her own healthcare value return on investment, which you can read about in the write-up of the project. And then investors and really deep thinkers and just amazing people. Matt Holt, who started Health 2.0, is always chiming in, and there's Craig Lipset, who I mentioned before. So having the advice of these people for 10 years, 15 years, has been invaluable. And so we plan to form, if they accept our invitations, a board of some of our best people that have been helping us all along the way. Dave Tambury at Health Evolution Partners has been extremely helpful. So that ends the deck portion of what we're going to do here. And maybe it's time to read you a poem. So I guess the most important thing is please support this campaign. It'll give very visible evidence. There are some things that are come talk to us. There's also offers to do crowd challenges, to do healthcare innovation programs for cities or hospitals. We've done all these things, a lot of the things you've seen. So if you read the text, there's a lot of that in there. Sorry for this very short, brief video, but you can always contact me through the platform. And there's a ton of other things community is thriving and touched on. But I'd like to take a moment maybe to read this poem that I wrote on the way to do a showcase for a bunch of our portfolio companies at Megan Antonelli's Health Impact back in 2022. So bear with me. I write poetry. Yes, I do. Okay. So I refer to Regina Holiday's walk-in gallery jackets, which you haven't seen them. They're really cool. They just painted on the back of the jackets, and there's like 600 of them. And she only paints people who inspire her. We actually have a reward, which is the Regina Holiday print, which she doesn't do prints except for us. She's been on our board since day one. So anyway, so I refer to that in the poem. And this is still a little revolutionary, but in truth, we're more evolutionary. So, because I wrote it a couple years ago. So poem number 111. We spoke truth to power and nobody cowered. Voices so loud, never too proud, even for Congress and at the White House. Wearing our jackets, we made quite a racket. We believed we could drive change, but everything stayed mostly the same. So we created new ways. Some of them got play, changing care, shortening stays. But where are they today? Eye triage bought by Aetna. Pear fell off the tree. Bright health dimmed. Babylon torn down. Change healthcare optimized. I like that particular word. PPMCs RIP'd. Oscar trashed. Flatiron privatized by Roche. Registered patient disappeared into MDON. And the list goes on and on and on and on. Disruptors disrupted by incumbents, just perpetuating all this dumb shit. Crystal is cracking, verbally attacking. But that's not really all we're doing. Our returns are accruing. Now we invest in the best. Teams that pass all our tests. Rapidly they grow. Soon they IPO. Okay, not that many IPOs. So we spoke truth to power, and nobody listened. Now we speak truth from power, and it makes all the difference. So let's get investors aligned. No more disruptors sidelined. Change well begun, not nearly done. So stand up for change to fix all our pain from a system that's broken. The people have spoken. So anyway, so if this inspires you, if this gets you excited to fix healthcare together, let's connect, let's collaborate, let's create the future of healthcare together. If you have an idea, please enter the challenge or start a project. All the links are up above. Give me a call, set up a meeting. If you want to talk about anything complicated, you can use the pilot button, the partner button, the invest button, all the buttons over there on the right. All the buttons. Click all the buttons. No. Only click the ones that make sense to you. You can rate and review this thing in the green box on the bottom right. Right, you can make comments, all that kind of stuff. So thank you for being part of this massive experiment to find the best ways to drive healthcare forward. I'm Alex Fair, and I approve this message. See you soon.